I was just literally going to see my gecko, and I was like, why is he acting slower than normal? And he was being slow, and I put this new net in, and he wasn't being able to climb it very well. And I saw little tears, and I go, what's up, buddy? And I come up, and I grab him. Oh, come here. And his feet aren't as sticky. And if you look at him closely, he is in shed. Stay here, buddy. So, let's see here. I may not be able to tell just yet, but I really tried to get you guys to notice that he was in shed. How did I get you guys? That sounds pretty good. So you guys see, he looks normal, but then I realized, see, there's a flap. See this. Okay. I'll be right back, guys. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today, I am making an intro about my crested gecko Snickers. So, right now, who is Snickers? Snickers is my little crested gecko. I will show you guys that it would be perfect to make this video because number one, today we are going to be feeding him crickets. Number two, he is in the middle of shedding. I have a few clips. I will roll those. I don't know why I said this. I already showed those clips. But here he is. So this is him. And as you can see, the different coloration, that's shed right there. And he is shedding in the middle, shed a bit right now. And so, yeah, this is my crested gecko. His name is Snickers. I already said that. And yeah, he's a little bit wet from his... Okay, so his next is his feeding schedule. So my dude has a specific type of feeding schedule. Yes, you do. So crested geckos eat later at night because they're nocturnal. So he eats a variety of foods. And at night, he eats. I feed him around 8:30, and he eats mostly a diet of crickets and a few other foods. We will talk more about it later. Next, about Snickers. We're going to be talking about Snickers. Snickers is my, like I said, little crested gecko. He is really cute. I named him Snickers because he basically looks like a Snickers kind of to me, and he's funny. And I just heard the name on YouTube, so I thought it'd be a good idea. So I just like the name Snickers. And first off, his name was originally Blossom, but now it's Snickers. So that's his name right now. And basically about him, they are very cute, and they look like they're always smiling. They're not that hard to take care of. They're awesome pets to make. It is where what you have to have a spray bottle because crested geckos require a certain humidity level. Like right now, let me show you. So right now, this is his humidity. The one we're talking about right now is a thermometer / Fahrenheit on the left. 74 on percent right there. The thermometer, Fahrenheit. And then over here it is at level. 64 degrees. Percent is humidity. Sorry. You need to keep their humidity level around 60 to 70%. And their thermometer to their Fahrenheit temperature around 70 to like 74 to 75. Like right now it's at 74. That's perfect. And sorry, I paused it. I didn't mean to. And what you do with this spray bottle? This is a spray bottle of water, and to get the humidity up, like what do I do if it's at 40% and that's not very well? That's not very good. So what you do is you don't want to spray the whole tank because that's going to get it up to 80 to 100%. So just like spray like one little area like this. I'm not actually going to spray because I just sprayed. And maybe like one other area, or just like a few full sprays like this. Like that, or just like on the sides or there. You don't want to do too much or it's going to add too much water. Next subject is about crickets. I should pull it closer. Is crickets. So they eat crickets about once a week because you don't want to feed them crickets every day because that's not their official diet. I will show you guys feeding him crickets. Their official diet is basically just a mixture of Pangea. They do eat crickets, but for babies they can eat small, but only like older ones can eat. I just got him these for fruit-eating geckos bites. It's for baby geckos. It's specifically formulated for fruit-eating geckos to promote growth and health, and it's really healthy for them. We just got his diet. So my gecko's diet is a mixture of different food blends. He eats mostly different types of Pangea and Rapashi. So right now, you want to give them a variety or they get bored. Sorry about that. So and then he has one in the fridge, which I will show you guys. So he basically eats different types of Pangea, like these few Pangeas. This is just a already made gecko food. He has the Fig and XX blend because before I had him, I had a picky gecko, and so he fed them this, and he eats this too. He likes it a lot. He will eat on camera. And this is another blend that he has. Not the same as this one, but similar. And then he has Rapashi. He does eat Rapashi, but he doesn't like it. It's not his favorite, but he will eat it. And I will go show you guys the one in the fridge. So it is this little food. It's a little gel that was pre-made though. I have to mention one thing about their food. So their diet, for adults, you basically do it every other day, geckos. But for juveniles, again, mine, you do it every single day. You change out their food. Okay, the next topic is what size cage. So right now, there's different size cages for different types of geckos. But this gecko requires, for juvenile geckos like my gecko. There you go, you got it. He's in shed, so he's a little bit slow and more likely to fall, so I'm being careful. Again, which looks like this. Or like that. Just in case you forgot why I got him out, it's to show how big he was. And that's how big he is compared to my finger. That's what they look like. Look at the camera. But he looks like that. Like this. Ta-da! And this is what juveniles look like. So that's what juveniles look like. And juveniles require 12 by 12 by 18 size as the minimum cage. You can upgrade them to an 18 by 18 by 30 if you want. Sorry guys.
I'm talking about that when they're babies. You don't want to just upgrade them to an 18 by 18 by 30.
When they're in such a big home from when they're babies, it's harder for them to navigate because the house is so big for their small size. So sometimes you want to start off with a smaller cage, and when they can become bigger, then you can start doing it. Are they messy? Well, basically, I would say kind of messy, but kind of not messy. So my gecko, we feed him crickets, so his cage is a little bit messy from all the crickets that are in there, somewhat, and some of his like doo-doo. But they're not like messy crazy. I'll show you his cage. They're not like that messy. I mean, like if we go down to the bottom, yeah, sure, they're a bit messy, but that's a part of the next category is how big do they get? Well, to the bare minimum for a crested gecko, which is mine's a baby, so he's not full grown yet, but basically the minimum size for an adult crested gecko would be 6 to 10 inches long. Different crested geckos can grow to different lengths. It can be from 6 to 10 inches long, but they don't grow entirely huge. They aren't like some of the bigger geckos you find like in iguana.
An iguana is not a gecko.
6 to 10 inches. So that's why they only require a certain size cage. What type of water do I use? Well, basically this is a weird question. But for this specific type of water that he has in his spray, you don't want to just grab straight up water from the sink, because that can harm them. You don't know what chemicals and stuff is in. I use purified water from a water bottle or from my fridge, because my fridge water has a special like purified water tube that he can use. But I just use purified water, and that's what I recommend to use. Okay, we basically already said this. But how often do you feed crickets / Pangea? Feed crickets once a week. We feed him crickets on Friday, plus give him calcium on Friday. You'd only need to give him calcium 1 day a week. You can choose. And then he always has the option of Pangea or Rapashi in his cage. Do they bite? No. Crested geckos are one of the friendliest geckos. They're on the top 5 list of geckos that don't bite. They are very friendly. They will not bite you. The only reason they would ever bite you is because they think you're food. They would never bite you in aggression. They are very friendly. If you went to go hold your crested gecko, they aren't going to just try straight up biting you, depending on the gecko. Most geckos that are crested geckos do not bite. Very few crested geckos bite. It's not very common that you find one that bites. Like mine, I will hold him and he's very, very friendly. Unless he would think I was food, he's not going to bite me. If I came in there with my finger wiggling, yeah, he might think I'm food and bite me. But he's not doing it to be aggressive with me. My gecko is very friendly. My crusty. Do they make any noise? Well, my gecko has not made noise yet, but they can. Because sometimes when your crusty is chilling and you come to grab them, they'll go, but it ain't very loud, and it's not like my birds in the background. It's just like a quiet. It's not like they scream or yell. It's not very loud. Can you hold them? I don't know why this question's even on the list, because you guys have seen me hold my gecko. Yes, crested geckos, you can hold them. Some geckos do not want to be held. Some crested geckos, they don't want to be held, but sometimes you'll get a crazy one and they don't want to. But yes, they are tameable. You can hold them, as you saw me holding mine. Are they clumsy? The answer is yes. They are very, very, very clumsy, just to warn you. So when your gecko is walking from hand to hand, when they shed, they're like this. Like they walk like a literal monster. Like they are very, very clumsy. They miss a lot of the time. So you have to be very careful. Like when you're holding them in one hand, you have to like do this. But if you do this, they're going to go and fall over. Like they're very clumsy. Do they jump? The answer is yes. They are very, very good jumpers. If they were sitting on a toy, they could easily, if your hands were like this, they could easily jump from this hand all the way over to this hand. And oftentimes they are very clumsy, like I just said in the last question. And they do end up sometimes missing. So I hold mine on the bed. So if he accidentally does miss, he ends up on a soft cushion. So he does not get hurt. Are they scaly? Most of you guys are like, yeah, duh, obviously they're scaly because they're part of the reptile family. But no, crested geckos are not scaly. Feel your own skin. You know how your arm skin feels? Like feel right here. It's not scaly. That's what they feel like. Their skin is very soft and delicate. How often do they shed? Well, it's different for juveniles and it's different for adults. So for my baby crested gecko, they shed about every 2 weeks. But adult crested geckos only shed around once a month. It's basically different. Some geckos shed every 3 weeks. It really just depends on the gecko. But the most common is juveniles or babies every 2 weeks, and for adults once a month. Once to twice. Is it messy when they shed? If you've ever owned a bearded dragon, which I haven't, but my friend does, but if you ever own a bearded dragon, you'll see their shed a lot of the times places in their cage. But crested geckos are not messy when they shed. They will literally eat up their shed. They won't make a mess with it because they basically just eat it like it's their food. So you don't need to worry about that. They need a UVB light, a bulb. You know those bulbs that go over that keep them heat? You might think so. My cage has this bulb on the top of his cage. So you might be like, yeah. They don't need a UV light. They don't need any source of heat. All they need is the humidity level. They don't need any source of heat to keep them alive. They will be very fine on their own without one. They do not need a nighttime one. They do not need any of those nonsense UVB bulbs. You're like, why are you talking nonsense about this, Sarah, if you have one? Well, it's not an actual UVB light. Mine is called a daylight, which tells the gecko when it's day and night. So right now, the light is on, so my gecko knows it's time to sleep. And when it turns off, he knows it's time to be awake. So they're basically nocturnal. So that's how they know. And it also makes it to where I can see him better. I don't know why this question is on the list either. but it's what is the best humidity percent/Fahrenheit level. Like I said, the best Fahrenheit level / thermometer temperature is, the thermometer temperature is around 70, basically from 70 to 74. That's the best thermometer level. But for the humidity / percent, I don't know why I'm saying that, percent, the humidity, the good level is 60 to 70. If you go over 85 degrees, it can kill your gecko. So never go over like 80. Try to stay below. If it gets too hot in your cage, what you can do is, if you have an extra little cage, like we do, this extra, put your gecko in there or hold them and wait for their cage to cool down. One way I do it is I open up it and I do this. I grab the door and I go like this to pour more air in there. Or if you have like a fan, a small fan, or one of those, like there, it provides more air in the room, then that can get rid of that hot heat. That too high before it gets too late. What is the best bedding? I used to use dirt for one of my geckos, but one day I had a gecko, and that gecko ate that Pacific dirt / eco-earth bedding. And that eco-earth bedding and he got congested and he passed away / died, which was very sad to me. So I never wanted that to happen again. And the other thing they say they could use was paper towels. So now I use paper towels. That's what I recommend as the best bedding. But if you want them to have better humidity, dirt is good. You just have a higher risk of them getting hurt or impacted because they're looking for crickets on the ground, but they accidentally eat dirt instead. And with paper towels, they can't eat it, which is very good. When they get older, you can switch over to dirt. But when they're babies, keep it as paper towels. And it needs to be cleaned more often. Paper towels. Do they need baths? Well, the truth is, no, they don't need a bath. Because every 2 weeks to once a month, depending on the age, they shed their skin, which gets off any dirt or anything that was on them before. What I do is, when he's shedding, is with the spray bottle, I do a little bit of squirts on his back to help some of the shed that was there come off of him a little bit easier for him. But you never want to just straight up put him in a bathtub, because that's not going to help them at all. I don't even know if you guys want to know this, but do they blink? So crested geckos do not blink. It's like a part of them. They don't blink. What they do instead, if there's something in their eye that's bothering, they use their tongue and they lick their eyeballs. How many teeth does a crested gecko have? This question may surprise you. So, sorry about the paper. But they have 177 teeth total. And their teeth are like shark teeth. When they lose one, that tooth replaces. So don't be afraid because they have 177 teeth. They probably won't bite you. Where did I get my crested gecko? That's a pretty good question. I got my crested gecko from the tie-dye iguana up in Fairview Heights. There is a good place. I really recommend tie-dye iguana. Yeah, I really recommend tie-dye iguana. Tie-dye iguana is a really good place. It has all the things you would need for reptiles. It goes through many reptiles. They have bearded dragons, crested geckos, basically any type of gecko. They have stuff for birds. They have stuff for tortoises. They have stuff for chickens. They have stuff for iguanas. They have stuff for tarantulas, fish. They have fish stuff. They have a lot. I said that. But they have loads of stuff. They even have stuff for, what's it called? Crabs, like a hermit crab. They have stuff for hermit crabs. And they sell all these items, including for chameleons, blue-tongued snakes. They have snakes. They do use, and then what the best is, that's where I get my crickets from, because they sell crickets, roaches, mealworms, rats, for all of those needs. And
they also have waxworms and
a lot of my
crawlers.
stuff that you see here I got from tie-dye iguana. Everything in my gecko's cage except for the rock and the food dish I got from tie-dye iguana. All of his food that you see, except for the fig and insects mix, I got from tie-dye iguana. So as you can tell, I get a lot of my items from tie-dye iguana. So they're a very good place. What is the gender? Is it a boy or a girl? Because I keep saying he, but then I said his name was a girl before. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. You have to wait till they're at least 18 months old to figure out if it's a boy or a girl. So my gecko is only 3 months old. So we don't know yet. We got him when he wasn't straight up a baby, but he's been living with us for about 3 months now. So, yeah, so we're not that sure about boy or girl yet. I will tell you when I get that in. Was my crested gecko hard to tame? The answer was no. What you do when you get your crested gecko home, normally for babies, you have to wait about a week before you can actually hold them. I got one before that was a bit older, and it was 4 days. But this one was a week. And after a week, when I first put him on my hand, he was a little bit frightened, but he stayed there. He was quite a nice little gecko. He's really sweet. But then he got used to me, and he was fine. He wasn't that hard to tame. All I had to do was hold him for a couple minutes every day, and now he loves me, and he's fine with me. When do I feed him? I basically already said this, but I feed him at around 8:30 to 9 o'clock. So right now, I'm going to show me feeding. Right now, I am grabbing his crickets. We are going to do crickets first. Here's all of his crickets. So I'm going to dust them with calcium. First, I have to grab his calcium out of his tank, which is this. So this is his calcium. These are his crickets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open his calcium. Well, I'm actually going to close it. And I'm actually going to just pull this a little bit. They don't have any blue-tongue snakes, but they sell stuff for blue-tongue snakes.
Don't know why I went back to talking about tie-dye iguana.
They have light bulbs and like everything, tie-dye iguana. They literally have light bulbs. They have stuff for every basically type of gecko and type of stuff. Even if they don't have it, they do have stuff for that probably animal. They probably do. I don't know every specific type of reptile, so I mean like I named a few for you guys that are pretty common, but I mean they do have stuff for leopard geckos. They even own leopard geckos and different things. So they're pretty good. Okay, here I am just putting some of the calcium dust in. I just poured on there. You see it's right there. And they all come over to it because they're curious. That's what they do. And then I just pour it into a corner and shake. Shake, 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 shake your booty. Shake, shake, shake. And you see, now they're basically all white. But I just go shake, 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 shake. I prefer to feed roaches, but since he's a baby, I can't feed roaches until he's about older. So that's
because the roaches are bigger.
These guys only live for a couple of days, so it's much harder to. And then they get cramped in this little corner. It's quite funny, but trying to watch them get out. Here, let's watch. There goes one. He's like, run! Some of them are like literally trying to eat it. Gonna give him a good shake, shake, shake. Okay. Now that we have a good little shake, 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 shake. And I like to shake it over and over so different ones are getting the dust and not just specific ones. And then I'm putting it in a little minimum corner so they can't get away. Yeah, they're pretty good now. And then sometimes I will try and hand feed him. Other times I'll just pour them all in. Today we're going to try a little bit, but not like a lot. Now I got to get these crickets moving. There they are. Okay, this is going to be more difficult, but so what I normally do, I have him right here, and then I have the crickets, and I use those tongs right there to feed him. Okay, dude, stay. So right here we are going to be trying to hand feed him. We'll see if he will do it. We'll see if he won't. Oh, there's 3 on there. We don't want 3. Oh, okay. So, oh, he jumped. That's what my gecko does. Sorry, guys. It's harder to find a good one. Come here, stay right there. Stay. No, you better stay or else. Ah. Really? Oh, he's coming towards me. Okay. I'm just making sure I have one. Will you eat it? Or are you still picky? And it's on his face! Come here, little. No, get off of my gecko. There you go. Now that was a weird move. Okay, come here, little. Come here. Stay. You want it? You want it, baby? Maybe not that one. He didn't really want to eat them, so I thought I'd just dump a few of them in there. Yeah, get rid of that calcium. Come on, crickets, get in the cage. Alright, now here's my gecko Pangea. This is me feeding him Pangea. So there's the crickets in his cage. Yeah, they kind of look dead, but they aren't, trust me. But, so I'm going to grab his food dish in here. Here is me basically taking his food to the slop sink where I change out his food. So what I do here is I just rinse it into the sink, and I don't use any soap or anything. I just pop it into the sink right here. I'm cleaning it out by getting all of the food out that he left over from the night before. Today we are going to be feeding him rapashi because, well, basically, he's in shed, and I feed him rapashi when he's in shed, so he gets a healthier diet. Right now I'm just cleaning out his bowl, making it look better. Okay. And now his bowl is officially clean. Now we gotta go take it into this room, and we are gonna fill it up with rapashi. Rapashi is the hardest one to do. And then I'm gonna let the birds out, and they're gonna have some fun. So I'm gonna put the bowl down here, and I choose what he's going to eat. Maybe we should try these little bites as well. But I'm gonna make his food formula first. So then I'm going in here, and I dig for a scooper. And then I'm going to do it over here on the floor. It's easier for you guys to see. So this one is the just add water. Crested Gecko, superfood, complete diet. And what I do is I just open it up. And I just pour. Normally I put, not pour. And I normally just, see, I just put the stick in here. And I just get some food out of it. See if it's enough. Let's see. You've been like, mine's a juvenile, but he still gets one whole of these. Here, I'm smoothing it out. I think if it's still not enough. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little bit of dumping here. Sometimes it takes me a minute to do this, but that's pretty good. So I'm gonna go take it up there. Be right back. I'm very carefully carrying rapashi over to his food. I'm gonna pop the rapashi right there. So what I do then is just dump this in here. And then I'm gonna add some water. Water is exactly like this. I just pour some water in here all the way to the top. I do 1 part water, 1 part food for him. You don't want to make it too not thick and too not thin. So here's me carefully bringing water. So you can tell there's water. Just pour it. And just like that. And then here's me mixing his food. Don't know why I keep saying me, but so I just mix it like this. So just do a bit of this. Hold on. Okay, guys, here's a better angle of me mixing his food. There we go. And so right now I basically just do this. I just mix. I'm going to move it a bit closer. I just mix and mix and mix his food. Like this. Like now I'm going to mix it to make it smoother together. Oh, there's a bit of powder. We don't want to leave that guy behind. We don't want powder in our food. We want food. See? So, and so I'm just making sure it looks good before I send it off into his cage. Or I let him eat it. And it looks like that at the end. So, yeah. Okay, now here is me popping his food back into his enclosure. Guys, I did not realize this, but look down here. I found him. Look at this little face. That's his face.
He walked away, that's wood.
Do you see him? A little blurry. Let's move down. Maybe I'll move this a bit over. Are you still there? So he was there. But now he's right there. Say hi. He's getting good at his shedding process now. Where are you? Right there. That's him. He's good at his shedding now because he's gotten some of it off, most of it now. He's had his head upside down. Let me get you. Come here. Harder. Thank you. Okay, I just got him. He started to run away a little bit, but he's doing good. See? He has some of it off. He had his head layer still on, but now his head layer is off, and he only has it on that little side of his face. Now we're going to see if he wants some ham. Little kitty, little cube thingies. I don't know if he's going to be hungry, because he's in a little shedding process here. I can disrupt it or anything, but see. So I will make a video of us trying out this food because he's in shed and he's not going to eat, I don't think. This is what he has so far. He also did right here some of his little, right there. Normally you don't catch them a lot like this, but so, bye guys, hope you liked the video.